Hey, Mike Powell back for Live Charged with a quick video today for everybody. Hope today has found you amazing. You're having a blessed day, an amazing day. And today I just wanted to kind of touch on a little something that probably a lot of us need to hear when we start out on our journey, going after whatever it is that we're chasing down or embarking on, I guess is probably a better term to put it. Listen, we're all gonna fall down at the beginning. And it is okay. It is okay to stumble, to fall, to fail. That is the way we learn. That is the way we grow. That is where we learn the lessons and how we learn to perfect our craft, I guess. Think about a little baby when you set out to learn. When a baby sets out to learn to walk, they start by crawling. They're not just going to get up one day and run from one end of the room to the other. They crawl. And then they see other people walking and they're like, wow, I want to do that. I want to get up and walk. And then they stand up, and what's the first thing that happens? They fall on their little butts. But do the parents say, oh, that's it, you're not going to learn to walk? No, they say, you can do it, good job. And they encourage them. And then they get up and they take one step and they fall. And then you know what? They get up and they take two and they take three. And soon enough, after all those little falls, they take some more steps and then they begin to walk. And next thing you know, they're running around and they're getting crazy and you can't catch them. And that's the same with life, and that's the same with any of our goals or any new venture that we set and we start to chase after. And when we embark on breaking habits and becoming the best version of ourselves, it is just like that. It is just like learning to walk. Sometimes you have to crawl, and then you got to learn to walk before you can run. And it reminds me of a story, thinking back over my experience in my life, back to one of the first jobs that I had after high school, was selling newspapers. And this is back when people actually read newspapers, and that's how they got their news. And it was involved in selling the newspaper subscription. See, I was a town paper boy, so I was involved with getting the newspaper to the doors growing up, but never really involved in the selling and growing the subscription base. So as I got older and got out of high school, I had to start making some money and support myself and supporting whatever other ventures that I want to go and start up, or things that I'd want to buy, or whatever the case would be. So I talked with a paper company and got a job selling subscriptions. And I wish I could tell you it was an instant success, but holy cow, it wasn't. I wasn't even good when I started. I was flat out horrible. I remember the first day that I went out, and it was tough. It involved getting up at 4 a.m. and going to the gas stations or going to grocery stores and literally going up to strangers and trying to sell them a subscription to the newspaper right out of the gate. And the thing is, there was a lot of habits I had to break, especially, getting up at 4 a.m. to go do something that I was not good at was not easy at all. But I talk about this because this is the foundation for a lot of the success that I found later in life. It first starts with our foundation, and laying that foundation is going to take time. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort on our part to succeed and to see progress and to grow. And that's what happened. So I remember the first day I went out, I don't even think I sold one. I remember the first week I didn't even sell but a couple subscriptions. And it was frustrating. And I wanted to stop. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to do it anymore because rejection, I was naturally more of a shy person when I was younger. So the thought of going up to strangers and going up to people out of the blue to sell them a newspaper subscription, it was tough. So I remember a couple weeks go by, and there was an older gentleman in the office that pulled me aside and he said, hey, Mike, I know your numbers aren't where they need to be, and how you doing? And I kind of voiced my frustrations a little bit. And thank God, I can't even remember his name, but he must have saw something in me, because he said, hey, I want to help you. Do me a favor, take this video home and watch it. And I'll never forget this video. It was actually a a VHS, and a lot of people probably don't even remember these things, but it was a VHS tape that you had to put in way before DVDs and any of that stuff. And it was a tape of a guy that the production quality was horrible. The video message was, I mean, it was flat out a funny video because the guy was kind of goofy, but I didn't want to confuse the message with the messenger. And there was little tidbits and little things that he talked about that I started to apply. And did it happen instantly and overnight? Not even close. And that's the thing is when we set out to become the best version of ourselves, we are going to stumble. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have setbacks. We're going to have some of our old habits creep back up. And we're going to mess up some days. And that is okay. That is totally fine. Because if you set out with the intention and you set your intention to be better every day, look, if you have a week where maybe you have 4 good days out of 7, that's okay. Because then you shoot for the next week of having 5 good days out of 7, and then 6, and then 7 days. And then you create that habit of every day is better than the last. And then you get momentum. And then you continue on. And once you have momentum, you're like a rocket ship. And you have taken off. And there's not going to be anything to stop you. And that's what happened. So I watched this funny, goofy video that gave me little tidbits. And I started to listen to CDs. I remember one of the first CDs that I listened to was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And that was such an impactful CD because it was all about effective communication. And there's one line in there that says you can catch more bees with a gallon of honey than you can with a gallon of gall. And that's so true. And it taught me how to effectively communicate and get out of my own way because I was shy when I was a kid, and I was a little bit more of an introvert. So every day I would go out and it wasn't like I would go out and get 10 new subscriptions, but you know what? I would go out and I wasn't getting but 1 or 2. And then I would have a day where I would get 3 or 4 and I went, wow, that worked. And then I would study more and I would learn something else and I would go out and I would apply that. And boom, I would get 5 or 6 subscription. I'm like, man, this is cool. This is awesome. And the more success, it built confidence. And you got to celebrate those little successes. You know, sometimes we get in our own way where patience is the key. And sometimes we want instant gratification and instant results. And that's not the way it is because we're becoming. In the process, it's not about as much as what you get, but it's who you become in the process. And you're going to start to become such a better version of you. But it takes time, and you have to forge through. And sooner or later, I was getting 6 or 7 subscriptions in a day. And they had this chart in the office. I'll never forget this thing. It was, they would print out the top 10 weekly subscription salespeople. And when I started out, there was no way, and I had no idea that I could even get on this top 10 thing. But as I started to get some success, I said, man, that's a new goal for me. I want to get on this top 10 thing. So a month goes by, and I think, I remember I cracked the top 10. I think I had number 10 or 9. And it was awesome. And then the competitive juices started flowing. I mean, I am an old athlete, so of course, I want to be the best. I wanted to shoot for the number 1 spot. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. As long as you do it morally and ethically and it's the best version of you, you will be the best. Why? Because there is so much greatness inside of all of us that if we could get out of our own way and fuel that seed and feed that seed, it will naturally come out. And I'll never forget there was a older lady who it was her full-time job. And she was selling, gosh, I can't even remember, like 40 or 50 subscriptions a week. And she was crushing it. And now she was working 40 plus hours a week. And I think I was only at maybe 20 something, because at the time I was going to school and I had started a little business venture with some friends on the side. So I was only putting about 20 to 25 hours in at the paper company. But it was a goal of mine to go out and crush it and get the number 1 spot. So yeah, did it take hard work? Of course it did. And it wasn't instant. I remember I cracked the top 5 and I sat at 2 or 3 or 4 for weeks. And then one week I just got up and there was a fire inside me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes this week, and I'm going to commit, and I am going to get this spot. And I just made a decision. I decided. And I'll never forget, there was a day where I went to a Jewel Osco, which I live in the Midwest here in the United States, and it's a grocery chain. And they sent me out, and I think I remember going into the weekend. I was having a great week, and I think I was at 30-something subscriptions maybe. Gosh, it's so long ago that I'm trying to remember the exact numbers. Whatever, 30-something. And I remember thinking I need to get to at least 50 subscriptions to have an opportunity of taking over the number 1 spot. And I remember I was there, I believe it was a Saturday and a Sunday or something that I was scheduled to be there. And I went out Saturday and crushed it. I think I had 14 or 15 subscriptions on that Saturday alone, which was huge. And I saw the goal. I saw that finish line. So I went home, and I remember I put in that stupid VHS tape. And this was months after our sales trainer at the office gave me the VHS, and I rewatched it. And by this point, I had already started listening to a lot more advanced communication tools and personal growth and development. But I wanted to take it back to the basics, because I remember, I never wanted to forget, it was that first time I watched that when I was selling not even 1 subscription a day, that I wanted to go back and rewatch that video. So I did. And then I went out that Sunday, and I think I got 16 subscriptions and crushed it again. And I'll never forget that, I just had that so much energy and so much passion. And that's what I set out. I remember getting up that morning. I said, you know what? I just want to go out and I want to make people's day. And I want to have that energy and enthusiasm. And going up and literally listening to these CDs and these tapes, and that it helped me get over my introvertness, if that's even a word, and it helped me get over my shyness, because going up to a complete stranger and having them reject me was not something that I liked in the beginning. But then I learned how to celebrate that rejection and thank them for it, because I started to learn that every time somebody said no, I knew I was that much closer to somebody saying yes. I just needed to talk to a few more people, and that was it. And I went out, and I remember a guy telling me, he's like, look, man, I don't even want the newspaper subscription, but I'm buying it from you because your energy and your enthusiasm sold me on it. And he goes, I bought you, I didn't buy the paper. And that one lesson, that one stranger that told me that, taught me a valuable lesson about life and about sales and success. And sales is just nothing more than effective communication and a transfer of value and a transfer of feelings from one person to another. And the more that we bring out the best version of ourselves, people are going to be attracted to that, and they are going to want to support whatever it is that you're chasing after, because they're going to see that in that energy, and your vibes are infectious, and people want to hang out with that enthusiasm. It's contagious. And lo and behold, I got the number 1 spot that week. And I remember the guys that coming up to me, and they're like, man, how'd you do it? How'd you crush it? Look, it wasn't instantaneous at all. It was months of dedication and work that went into that. And it was a foundation that was being built all those years ago. But there was lessons, and the person I became by doing that, I can look back on that and draw from that and find golden nuggets in these stories. And I haven't talked about this in years, but putting it out there, I'm hoping you find a little bit of value. You find a golden nugget or two, or you can relate to your life in some way, shape, or form where it helps you and it pushes you through whatever obstacles you might be going through right now. And I'm reminded of the Chinese bamboo tree, and I'm getting along here, so you know what, on the next video I'm going to shoot, and I'm going to talk about the Chinese bamboo tree, because there's so much magic and there's so many lessons in the Chinese bamboo tree that we will talk about. So do me a favor, go research a little bit about it. Look it up and see. Just look it up. You will surprise yourself. But I'll shoot a video on it next time, and we will talk a little bit about it, and you'll be blown away. So we're going a little bit long. I don't want to cut it. I don't want to keep rambling here today, but I hope today has found you great. I hope you got a little bit out of this message, and it'll help you live a charged life, charge down those dreams, charge down your goals, and keep your sights on your vision. Yeah, you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. It is okay. It is okay to have a bad day. Don't get caught up. Don't let one bad day, don't let one mistake that you make, one slip up, take your eyes off the prize. Take your eyes off your goal. Take your eyes off your vision and hold you back. Just say, you know what? There's a lesson to be found in that. God bless me with the lessons. Bless me with a little bit more knowledge and wisdom, and help me do better the next time. Help me get it right the next time. Help me fail fast so I can succeed even faster. So from me to you, from Live Charged, well, make it a great day. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, do so. I'll keep putting my heart and soul into these posts. I'll keep trying to motivate and inspire, and through my stories and through my experience, if you can get a little something out of it, then I'm serving my purpose and I'm doing what I'm meant to do. So from me to you, God bless. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.